Hello students, welcome to Sentence Online classes. Students, we are working from home. So today we will start the chapter number 13, which is probability. So before we move forward, we should recall the things we have studied in 11th class. That what is probability, what are the terms related to probability. Okay, you have all gone through that earlier, but I am repeating again so you can have the exact grasp about the concept. Okay, so we all know that probability is the chances, is the prediction of occurrence of some event. Okay, and in 10th class we have studied probability equals to favorable outcomes upon total outcomes. Okay, and that was a formula given in the class 10th, and that was the classical approach to the probability. But in class 11th we have studied the axiomatic approach of the probability, and we have learned some terms. In 12th class also we will go through the axiomatic approach only. Okay, so all the terms related to probabilities are, so first of all, for in axiomatic approach there are some terms like experiments. First of all, experiment. Okay, so experiment is the process through which we get an outcomes. Okay, a process through which, by doing which, we get an outcomes. And in experiment, there is very popular experiment that is random experiment that we are going to study. Random experiment. So what are the qualities, what are the properties of this experiment? What are the experiments should be known as random experiment? First of all, their probability should be greater than 0. First point. And second point, we can't predict the outcome of experiment in advance. All those experiments who have probability greater than 0 and the outcome of the experiment cannot be predicted in advance, all such experiments comes under the category of random experiment. Tossing a coin, rolling a dice, if these are fair, then I cannot predict that in the die 2 is going to come, 4 is going to come, or head will come, or tail will come. So that's very unsure event. That's very unpredictable. I cannot predict. So all these experiments are random experiment. Now the next term is outcomes. Outcomes is simply result of experiment. So all the result of experiment are considered as outcomes. Suppose I have tossed a coin, then the outcomes would be head and tail. I have rolled a dice, then the outcomes would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alone H is a outcome, alone T is a outcome, alone 1 is a outcome, 2 is a outcome, 3 is a outcome, 4 is a outcome, 5 and 6 are outcomes. Okay. The next is sample space. This is simply the set of all outcomes. So in the case of tossing a coin, the sample space and we divided by S. Sample space would be head and tail. In the case of rolling a dice, the sample space would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. Now here I've said that H alone is a outcome, T alone is a outcome. But when I take H and T together, then it make a sample space. 1 alone is a outcome, 2 alone is a outcome till 6. These all are alone outcomes. But I will combine it together and make a set. Then that particular set would be known as sample space. Now next term is events. Event is subset of sample space. Suppose I've said, and we denoted by E, E1, E2, F, G by some letters. Suppose I've said in the case of rolling a dice, I've said what is the E is the event of getting odd numbers. So E is the event of getting odd numbers in rolling of a dice. But then element in E would be 1, 3, 5. So here E is what? E is simply the subset of F. So all the subsets of sample space, all the subset of sample space are considered, are known as events. Okay, so these were the basic terminology you are going to study in the axiomatic approach of probability. So now the formula for probability would be formula of probability of an event PE, that would be equals to number of element in event upon number of element in S. So our favorable outcome upon total outcome was in classical approach. Now number of element in event upon number of element in sample space. This is the formula in the axiomatic approach of probability. Okay. Now we will study the type of events. Okay. So please pause the video and note it down. Suppose I have rolled a dice, then sample space would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, now let's, even is the event of getting odd numbers 1, 3, 5. E2 is the event of getting even numbers, and E3 is the event of getting 1, and E4 is event of getting 2. Okay, now we will study the type of events. So there are two categories of events in which we can divide. First of all, we can divide events on the basis of sample point. On the basis of sample point, we can divide events in two categories. Number one is simple event, and second is compound event. Simple events are those events which has only one sample point, such as event E3 and E4. In E3 I have only one sample point, in E4 I have only one. Like some example, E3 equals to 1, E4 equals to 2. So these are the simple events. I have only one sample point in that. Now compound events, those events which has two and more sample points. Two and more sample points. All those events are known as compound events, such as event E1, event E2. These are what? These are compound events because they are having more than one sample point. Okay, so that was the type of events on the basis of some sample point. Okay, now there is the second category through which we have studied the types of the events. Okay, now the other two types are, the first is mutually exclusive events and mutually exhaustive event. Here when we compare two sets, on the basis of comparison, we can divide events into two parts: mutually exclusive and mutually exhaustive. As the name suggests, exclusive, it means unique in itself. So when we have events E1, E2, E3, suppose we have different events, and if they are disjoints, all disjoint events are known as mutually exclusive events. Okay, beta. Now, for example, it means what? That if I have event E1, event E2, event E3, suppose till event En, if I have n number of events and there is no common elements in both them, it means their intersection is 5. There is no common in any of the events, then such events are known as mutually exclusive events. For example, if I talk about E1 and E2, the event E1 intersection event E2, what is there any common in these two events? Nothing is common, equals to 5. Hence E1 and E2 are mutually exclusive event. Now on the other hand, mutually exhaustive events are those events, suppose I have n number of events, if I take their union, and if I get the sample space, by taking the union of the all available events, if I get the sample space, then all those events are known as mutually exhaustive events. For example, here E1 and E2, event E1 and E2, if I take union of E1 and E2, beta what I will get? I will get 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6. It means what? Equals to sample space. Hence event E1 and E2 are mutually exhaustive. And one thing is to notify that E1 and E2 are mutually exclusive as well, and they are mutually exhaustive as well. But it's not necessary that it would be that when an event is exclusive, then it definitely would be exhaustive. It might be or it might not be. Now for the event E3 and E4, event E3 intersection E4. Is there any common between these two events? No. So they are mutually exclusive. But E3 and E3 union E4, E3 union E4, that would be give us 1, 2, which is not equal to sample space. So E3 and E4 are mutually exclusive, but they are not mutually exhaustive. So these were the types of the events which we need to understand. Now the next type is independent events. Okay, that we will study in the exercise 13.2. Now, first of all, please pause the video and note it down. And the very first concept of class 12, that is conditional probability. Okay, conditional probability. So as the name suggests, conditional probability, it means this is not a simple probability. We have to find the probability of an event when some specific condition is given. Suppose I have two events, E and F. Okay, so now conditional probability of E, conditional probability of E when F is given, then we denote it by P E slash F. The meaning of this expression is conditional probability of event E when F is given, and the formula for it is equals to P E intersection F upon P F. This is the formula for the conditional probability of event E when F is given. Similarly, I can write the conditional probability of event F when event E is given. So that would be P F intersection E upon P E. Okay, this is the formula for conditional probability of event F when event E is given. Okay, now I will give an example through which we can get that what this formula is all about and how we supposed to solve such type of question based on the conditional probability. So till then, please pause the video and note it down.